Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. The Insurrection Act is it coming soon? I believe it is. Democrats trying to start insurrection. Venezuela War coming soon. Stop drug trafficking. Possibly something going to happen with Mexico as well, and maybe some other South American countries. Cartel war in U.S. cities once we hit Venezuela, right? So we saw the demonstrations, which were supposed to be much bigger than they were, but they never really got traction, never really got the excitement and people behind it that Democrats expected, the deep state. So that was, didn't work out. They're going to try and, throw Epstein at Trump, the Epstein files at Trump. But lo and behold, there's lots of stuff that they thought was that they had destroyed when Obama's little puppet, Joe Biden, or the guy that looks like Joe Biden, came into office. They basically went on a destruction campaign. Now, Trump team, before they left, made sure they had everything. And then they were in the position where they could surveil everything, right? So that's what we've seen over this last 4 years, and now into Trump's first term or second term, first year of his second term. So we'll see a lot of this stuff because we'll talk about it in a minute, and I'll show you guys Q post, which basically saying we have everything, right? And just recently, they found some burn bags in the FBI. That happens never, right? So burn bags are a controlled item. And when they're filled, that's controlled substance. And they go right straight to being burned, all right? Somebody has custody of them the whole time. So for them to come out and say, oh, look, we found burn bags. And then they start coming out with what's starting to roll out of the Democrats and some rhinos and some Hollywood types that have had evidence of being involved with Epstein, right? And Epstein child trafficking and so forth. So that's coming out. We've already had one big wig, and I guess he used to be buds with Epstein, and even asked him advice on dating or something crazy. So he had been, I don't know, some head of Obama's or Biden's administration for finance or something. He was at Harvard, and he resigned from Harvard and went away. Now, I'm kind of like, why? Why would you resign? I mean, we have like in Virginia, we had somebody was running in one of the races there in Virginia that had sent an email saying that he wanted to kill his opponent and his children. Yet he went on to win, and he's going to be in office. So nothing happened to him. There wasn't an outrage about him from Virginians, all right? So why did this guy resign? Was there more dirt? Did he know that they were going to come out with some more stuff? Did they tell him maybe that they were going to come out with some more stuff? Now we know that the Clintons were involved with Epstein on a very, very bad level. Now Bill Clinton has distanced himself from the Hillary Clinton lookalike. So we're going to see a lot of these people basically turn tail and run. We've seen a lot of the Hollywood celebrities that are saying they're going to go overseas, going to live overseas, and maybe in some places that they go to, they're not going to be welcome. I think one of them that went to Ireland, she wanted some kind of diplomatic immunity and so forth. And they're like, nope, we're not going to give that to you. So she went to Australia. So maybe the Australians will give her some, but I doubt it, right? Australia has really come a long way from the COVID days. They got hammered. I think next year we're going to see Australians get their guns back. I'm predicting that, but I think they're going to get their guns back. All right. So that will be the end of the deep state in Australia. So they're almost, I think, the end of the deep state in Australia already. But I think that the Australians saw what was played on them, and they're going to want their guns back, just like Americans. And that may play in a lot of other areas. New Zealand may get their guns back at some point after that scam of a mosque shooting. I said right away that was a scam. That was like total BS. That was like some guy with paintball gun or something was running around and shooting people in corners, and the way they reacted, and complete BS. All right. So yes, Andrew, I believe I'm right. So I'm right if you guys decide I'm right. Right. So I see it, but things can change. People can not get involved, but I think the Aussies want their guns back. Right. I think the Canadians, although a few years ago, supposedly they gave up their guns. I don't think they did. Right. Most Canadians did not give up their guns. And when they become part of the U.S. or portion of Canada become part of the U.S., they would just like buy guns like crazy. Right. Right. It's going to happen. Yes. So predictions, some of them come true. Most of them do in my case. But we'll see a lot of things going forward. So let's jump into the Insurrection Act. So the Insurrection Act of 1807 is the U.S. federal law that empowers the President of the United States to nationally deploy the U.S. military and to federalize the National Guard. Now, we've already seen National Guard deployed. UNIS and Marine Corps in California, in L.A. That was easy for them because they have a massive base in Camp Pendleton. So all they had to do is just drive a little distance up north and get involved, and they did. I think we're going to see Marines in most major cities coming up, guys, and it may happen fairly soon. It may happen before Christmas, right? So we're just going to be watching that. So we're going to see these things happen. So why would you do Insurrection Act? Suppression of civil disorder, armed rebellion. These are things that I believe they're going to resort to in these Democrat cities because they have not been successful with their demonstrations. The demonstrations went over like a wet blanket, right? Right. So they got thrown right off. No one really got that much involved. I guess they're instigators that they pushed in there to try to get everybody like fired up like they did with the George Floyd. It didn't work, right? So I think Democrats, I'm saluting you Democrats that are like, not falling for this bullshit. Keep it up. We're all going to combine here pretty soon. Not everybody, but those that don't, those that are violent, unfortunately, violence will be met with violence, right? But there will be people in positions to, like if I came into a party and I was hanging out and you saw me like, making sure everything was cool, you feel pretty comfortable, wouldn't you? Right? Yes, you would. And I know that's, people love to have me around. So imagine the Marines come into a city and you have perhaps some bad people at the party, and they see the badass, because I have a master's degree in badassery, right? So when I come into a situation, no one F's around, right? F around to find out, right? I actually have a shirt. I was going to wear that. I have a shirt on my site where I sell clothing. So FAFO, and it's got a big angel. You got the angel wings with the sword. So that's Archangel Michael stuff, right? So master's degree in badassery. You could use that if you want, right? But you've had to have done a lot of work in that area, right? So I've done a lot of work in that area, so I can claim that. So it is one thing that we're going to see with the Marines. They're badasses. They're the most exceptional military unit in the world. And when they come, I saw them. I saw them in Iraq. I saw them in Afghanistan. When they showed up, everybody behaved, right? And if they didn't, they got spanked. They effed around or they found out, and then they behaved, right? So the Marines have there's a lot of respect for Marines. So if the Marines come to these cities with these cartel members, and it's time, and they're like, go get them, they're done, right? The Marines are like, you tell them to go, and they don't stop until it's done, right? So that's what we're going to see, I believe, in these insurrectionist cities. It depends on which ones they are. Could be some pretty good devastation in them. I think we're going to see a lot. I see a lot in my mind's eye. I see a lot of drone warfare being utilized. Small drones will go inside of buildings. Doors will be blown that are suspect of holding our cartel members, and drones will fly in, little tiny drones that will go in and survey. So we don't have to send a bunch of guys in, slamming into these rooms. That's the way I learned at SEAL Team 6. We blew the doors, and the shock of that, a flash crash into the room, if we weren't blowing the doors, shocked everybody. I can tell you, what flash crash goes off or demolitions used, the overpressure in a room from a demolition charge and from a flash crash will knock the heck out of you. If you're not, I'm trained, I can handle it, right? I know how my team would move, so I would be part of the resistance sometimes. We play, reverse roles. We be like the guys going in to get the terrorist or rescue the hostages or both. And I remember being with a gun with the hostage and getting shot. Right, we have face mask on, so we're excellent shots. And but in today's day, we don't have to like just blow into those rooms. It's going to be really good. And there's ways to pie a room and so forth that we've learned over time. In fact, I see some people talking about some Aussies in the house. I learned the pieing in Australia long ago, how they would like pie instead of going into the room, they'd be outside the room. They pie, think of a pie, and you're outside the room instead of like rushing into the room. You're outside the room and you're just slowly move and rotate your barrel, and you cover the room that way instead of going in. Very effective, very effective. And so, yes, lots of good guys that are going to be involved in this. That little son just wants to come in there and peek in, and we can't have that. We can't have the sun blinding us, right? Because it does that. It likes to like get over my head and give me a halo. So everybody's like, "Oh, Mike is, yes, I'm tapped in." So yeah, fancy stuff, right? Lowering the blinds with remote control. That's cool. And so insurrection. Now, Trump accuses, like we talked about, and everybody knows by now, 6 Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior, punishable by death. Do you think he's just like joking around here? Now let's talk about that a little bit. Now, I said right away that was total BS. I've never seen anything like that before in my entire life, in my entire career. Horrific. And I posted it. I was like, I completely support these 6 Democrats that insurrectionist, seditious behavior, for them to be arrested and tried by a military tribunal, and then if they're guilty, then to be held accountable, right? And we know what that means. If you're treasonous, you're going to go bye, right? You're going to get a nice little necktie and you're going to dance, right? So, and I hope we get to watch that. All 6 of them do the little dance, right? And so it reminds me, I just do a little dance, make a little bye-bye tonight. Yeah, shouldn't go there, but the disco times. I remember, get down, get down, get down, get down. 6 Democratic lawmakers. Ooh, get down for your seditious behavior, punishable by death. All right, so they got to go. They're going to go, guys. Those 6 are dead men and dead women walking. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to get this Insurrection Act going, and they have sent dozens of, JAG officers to Washington, D.C., dozens, military lawyers, right? So judicial action is coming for a lot of people, and probably for those 6. So I said that, yeah, they should do their military tribunal, because what are they saying? They're saying military, and some of them have military backgrounds, and some of them are CIA. So they know better, right? But what happened? Jeffrey Epstein files, they pushed it. They thought they were going to get Trump, and it's like, oh, look what we found. Look what we found. And they're like, oh shit, we gotta like go heavy now. So here we have these 6 throwaway Democrats, because that's what's going to happen to them. They're going to be thrown away. All right, sacrifice yourself. All right, so it's called seditious behavior at the highest level, Trump said. Absolutely. So let's say that we're all at the party, and we're hanging out, we're having drinks, and I say, people that drink wine, they should just have their heads cut off. And you'd be like, what? If you're drinking wine. So I personally like red wine. I like all wine. I like beer, wine, not alcohol so much, but I partake occasionally. Tonight I'm gonna take my lovely, and we're gonna have some champagne and nice food and steaks and lobster. So you can say something like that in a crowd, and it's like people like, but if there's like a military guy that's on a submarine or on an aircraft that is kind of like leans a little bit left, and he just got the okay from upper level, because these are Congress people. So some of these people that are in these groups. Now, when you get a lawful order, Trump has never given an unlawful order ever. So why are they talking this? They're trying to give cover for people that are maybe leftist. Now, we know that cartel members went into the military. We already know that. Like, and that's the way the military is. Oh, we'll make a good man or woman out of you, right? You want to leave drug trafficking behind? Okay. But we know that some of them that went in there specifically to play like the good guy, and they're in there to do bad things in the military. So then you have these clowns, and I think of them as being in clown suits, making these comments, and with their painted faces and stuff. They have potentially caused some serious problems. And if imagine something happens. Imagine, I don't know, we're going into Venezuela, and somebody's told to launch the missiles, launch the Tomahawk from the submarine, and somebody's like, oh, that's bullshit, and sabotages it and blows the whole sub up. Yeah, this is what happens, guys, because we saw that with the Gulf War, where we had a lot of Muslims that were in the military that were throwing hand grenades and commanders' tents. We saw the one guy down in Texas that went around and shot everybody up. We can have this happen, and if you have people like that trying to instigate it, which I don't think has ever happened in history, and if it has, it was dealt with immediately. So I think we're very close. We're very close, right? We have Tina Peters was just put in solitary confinement. Now we know she has medical issues. So I would not be surprised. They're like, dang it, we need to like launch. We need to launch the Insurrection Act so we can get in there with some Marines. And if that's not good enough, we'll send in the Special Forces guys, or maybe both, and rescue her, right? And anybody wants to get in the way, bye-bye, right? We have some serious problems in some of these Democrat cities, guys, right? Very serious problems. So again, if you have the leadership, you have the governor of Colorado that's like, screw Trump. He's saying, release her or else. And he's saying, screw Trump. Everyone below him is like now going to resist. Everyone below him that wants to resist is going to resist. Now, that doesn't mean everybody, but there's a lot of people that will probably put up some fight, guys. And we're gonna see this going forward, unfortunately. So seditious behavior is punishable by death. So all 6 of those at some point will be punished. Their punishment will be death, right? That's my belief. Whether it happens or not remains to be seen, but I think we're going to see it. It's pretty obvious to me. So the Epstein files, like I talked about, it's a collection of documents related to the investigations and prosecutions of Jeffrey Epstein, right? Trump kept egging them on. It's like, why do you want to keep going after that? And everybody's like, because it's there's a lot of illegality there, like children, and I don't know. So he's like, reel them in. All right. So you want those files released, do you? All right. You thought you destroyed all the ones that related to you, didn't you? So now we got the stuff on you, and that's what's going to happen. So Kash Patel uncovers burn bags in a closet. Just some closet had some burn bags. That is so funny to me. A new report claims that FBI Director Kash Patel, did he personally find these? Found bags filled with documents. I guess, he's a leader, so he's just going to take, yep, I'm the leader here. If there's anyone wants to talk shit, I'm the leader. I'm in charge here, right? So I'm not going to have a subordinate, take the heat. I'm going to take it. So there we go. The report from Fox News said burn bags in a previously unknown sensitive compartmented information facility, or SCIF, at a SCIF, so a sensitive compartmented information facility. So just a random one, just tucked away somewhere. Everybody forgot about it. These things cost millions of dollars. I remember when we were in Pakistan, we created a SCIF so we could, in a small room, in one of our command structures, we would have walled little compounds, and in these compounds, we had Pakistani security, and a lot of these guys were like former military. Really, some of them were really good guys. And I think sincerely they would have fought to the death for us, and then some of them would have ran, like we saw at some other bases, like in Benghazi. Their security guys ran, right? And then they got mortared, and a couple of my buddies died. So we're seeing, a lot of this silliness. So in Pakistan, we had in our, walled, compound, where not only did we have Pakistani, we also had us like badasses, with degrees in badassery. We were all, standing guard too, and we had, of course, with body armor and stuff. I could have my body armor, my sidearm, and my rifle on and heading out the door. I think probably about 15 seconds or less, right? From a dead sleep. So throw the covers back, put it on, out the door, right? I might not be all that presentable, for. I'm not going to have all my, badass hoochie coochie clothes on for, killing, but I'm I'm going to be ready to go, right? So that's the way it was in these compounds. So they created a skiff. I think it cost well over $1 million. It was just one room. It was a radio room, and the wires into it. It cost over $1 million, and then Osama bin Laden got taken down, and we stripped it. We stripped it, and we left that compound. So things happen very quickly, but obviously things are happening at the FBI, right? And they're like, oh God, look at that. Look what we found. Oh, look, there's stuff on Jeffrey Epstein here. Oh, you Democrats, oh, you bad Democrats. Did you guys think that we wouldn't find this stuff? All right, so let's look at the past. Let's look at the past. And the past will inform us. So we've talked about Q for a long time. Of course, they've come in and said Q was BS and blah, 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 right? So Q, the Q boards were basically, I think, Intel. It was when I look at the Q boards, the Q Intel drops. That was like badassery, right? Badass Intel drops for all of us humans, right? On those sides of the Intel wall. All right, so from that, QAnons would come in and they'd have their comments, and that's where we had, some bad actors come in and make comments, and that's why Q got a bad name. Of course, when we see all of the media that's controlled by the deep state, come in and say it's conspiracy theory stuff, it's like it's a no-go, right? So all of you guys that fell for it, you're dumb, right? And the rest of us are like, you guys suck. You guys need to go bye-bye. All right, so here, let's look at it. Let's look at what was said. Let's look at what was said. All right, so yeah, we have it all. We have it all. How about that? So when was this? This was April 26, 2018. So it's been a little while, right? The right people have the information. Good people are acting on the information. Think Goog. I don't know if that's Google or what the heck that is, but they talk in riddles. Think NK. I guess QAnon will probably say, "Oh, geez, Mike, it means this, this, this," and maybe I've heard of this over the years, but many shared users, foreign and domestic, verifiable access codes, fake emails, game forum comms, new intel revealed today, Gmail comms, define Evergreen. So Evergreen was the CIA business front, right? So and then I remember that Evergreen ship that went sideways in the Suez Canal. Oh, I was all over that. My remote viewing was like blew that up. My platform blew up. Newsweek came out and talked shit about me. I was like, I must be really hitting home runs on this stuff. So yeah, it is. There's a lot of us that are tapped into this stuff. Q is God info, in my opinion. And so some of us are tapped into. If you have a master's in badassery, then you're probably tapped into God's source, right? And God talks through you. So that's what I feel. So anyway, you can take it for whatever it is. Jair Bolsonaro arrest. So the Trump of the South America, Brazil. So they went through the same process that we did with J6, but their I don't know what date it was, but they felt that the election was stolen from Bolsonaro in Brazil. It was, right? And Bolsonaro and Trump are really good friends. And afterwards, Bolsonaro came up and met with President Trump, or former President Trump. He was out too. So I don't know. Maybe they're crowning each other's shoulders, but I doubt it. But so they were probably game planning, guys, right? So Jair Bolsonaro was arrested on November 22nd, right? That's today. After being deemed a concrete flight risk. Concrete, it's like solid, or is that like we're going to wrap him in concrete and dump him in the water? His feet will be wrapped in concrete and he will go for a long swim. All right. So I don't know. Pretty crazy stuff. He's got 27 years in prison for doing basically what J6 was, right? They blamed it on him, just like they tried to blame J6 on Trump. But we know that there were instigators on both sides. In the crowd, I saw a lot of them. I commented on a lot of them. Now, we were definitely getting jammed. Those of us that were at J6, our phones weren't working. Definitely getting jammed while we're there. So we weren't allowed to do real-time information, but I took video and pictures, right? But I was very smart about how I used those. I was going to put those up. I remember doing a YouTube and, you know, talking about it, but I never put any of that stuff up so they could be used against me. And fortunately, no FBI bubbas came to my door, right? Although it seemed like there were some people that were in my chats occasionally that were threatening that was going to happen to me. But that was all, you know, like we saw a disinformation campaign and, you know, the threats from the deep state and the leftists. So imagine, and I can't imagine that the leftists get in charge again. That's not going to ever happen again. That will never, ever, ever happen here in America again. That was America's most darkest 4 years ever. I think it was darker than the Revolutionary War, Civil War. It was horrific, right? And it was all leftists. The leftists were coming after us. Remember how they said that we were going to be violent? We never were violent the whole 4 years, but damn, they were against us. Damned if they weren't against us, right? Throwing everybody in jail, left and right. Trump team in jail, trying to throw Trump in jail, lawfare like crazy at him. So Jair Bolsonaro, the lawfare down there is really going after him. Now, this is very interesting because we're coming on the invasion, I believe, of Venezuela by the U.S. military. And I don't know if they're going to, how much invasion is going to be involved, but they're going to blow the hell out of the military and basically somebody else is going to take over. Right. So in Brazil, so you can start to put the pieces of the puzzle together, right? You got the Epstein files, and then you have the 6 Democrats that will be tried and executed for treason. You have down in Brazil, you have just recently the military in this one area and the police went after drug gangs. So protests erupted. Of course, there were the drug gang families. After police raid in Brazil leaves 119 dead. Now, most of those dead were the drug cartel members. As they would run away from the police, they would shoot back over their shoulders, and anybody in the streets, which there were a lot, would die from those, you know, stray bullets being shot randomly, right? Just to cover their running away, right? And they put vehicles, burning vehicles, and they had, like, you know, stanchions in the road that they put up real quick, all kind of crazy stuff. So a lot of people are starting to see. So I believe that was a pushback on Lula. So Lula was the guy that basically took over for Bolsonaro, and he was inserted by big time. He was actually, I think he was imprisoned for election fraud at one point, and then once he gets out, then he shouldn't be able to run for office again, but he runs for office and becomes the president of Brazil. Yeah, so Brazilians are like, bullshit. And so they push back. Of course, they're leftists in Brazil, love him. But Lula did not come and help the guys when they were going after these drug gangs in these multiple neighborhoods. And there was like a total war that erupted. Now, I believe that type of war that we saw in Brazil with the police and the paramilitary groups going after the drug cartels is what we will see in big blue cities, right? Because you look at all of the governors and the mayors in the big blue cities, they're all paid and bought, just like the Mexican. What's her name? The Mexican president. Can't think of her name right now, but anyway, we know that she and everybody in Mexico knows that she's bought and paid for by the drug cartels. Claudia Sheinbaum, right? And I'm not looking to see if somebody wrote that. If you did, good job, right? But it came to me, so I'm trying to make my brain think more. I cheat sometimes. I like have you guys think for me. I'm like, no, I need to make my brain think. So, but yeah, I still like to help. If I get stuck, yeah, I like your help. But yeah, so Claudia Sheinbaum, Jewish princess, right? So she's the head of the drug cartels of Mexico. So people are like, about to go revolutionary and down in Mexico. Now, what's also interesting about this, so we have Brazil getting ready to push back and roll over there and probably go insurrection mode in Brazil. We're probably going to see the same thing in Mexico. Trump was recently asked, would he launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? And he says, it's okay with me. So, of course, the press has twisted that and said that President Trump is going to bomb Mexico. No, he's going to bomb the drug cartels, not Mexico. It's going to drive big difference, all right? So, that he's really beefed up with military all along the border, right? And I guess the Mexicans, Mexican military and police were staging a border crossing, because a lot of us have said that's coming. So they were practicing it. So yeah, after I guess Trump said that, yeah, we're going to bomb the we're going to bomb Mexico. So he's not going to come out and say it, of course. But we know. Consuela? Consuela? No. No, it wasn't Consuela. So we're going to see this thing kick off, guys. So when it kicks off, that's when the drug cartels, I believe, in the big cities are going to kick off, and we're going to do the Insurrection Act, right? And after we get the Insurrection Act, then those 6 knuckleheads are going to stand trial and go bye-bye. And anybody else who wants to play that game going forward, we got some governors want to talk smack, right? You want to FAFO? Come on, let's go. So we've already seen Noose Him has already started talking smack. So he's already got that FAFO going on. He gets a little bit more, and he's gonna find out, right? I think he's already found out. I don't think that's Newsom. I think Newsom, when he disappeared for 2 weeks, that's when he went bye-bye, and they we got to put somebody back in there. California is our biggest moneymaker for the deep state. We just suck all the taxes out of there, and all the businesses that are still there. Most of them left now by now, but the ones that are still there, we're ripping them off. So I think that very shortly we're going to see some problems, probably in. Maybe not so much in Sacramento, maybe a little bit, maybe. Now I like Sacramento. I remember long ago when I went through a Marine Corps climbing course up in Pico Meadows, California. Thank you, Marine Corps. That was a great course. I would go for Liberty to Sacramento one time when they had a jazz festival. So the jazz festivals in Sacramento are like epic. So, it's like every other Democrat city, unfortunately, Sacramento also has a homeless problem. So, and I think that's absolutely going to be corrected very soon. Once we get the military in there, we're just going to, it's all going to be cleaned up. Those poor people are going to be helped, and all the billions that Democrats have been skimming, that's supposed to be used to help them, that's going to be utilized in a more positive way. So, and that'll happen throughout California. California is like the worst of all, but so is Seattle, so is Portland. Portland's been a shithole for a long time. Although when I was in back in the 80s, 81, I think, early 81, it was the most beautiful city in America. Voted the most beautiful city in America. Rose Festival, just absolutely a magnificent city. And now it's an absolute shithole after years and years of Democrats there. So it's gonna get turned around. So Detroit and all these other places that were once magnificent cities will be turned around, I think, over the next 8 to 10 years. All right. So Trump, and then probably JD Vance. That's I'm kind of iffy on Vance, but the more I kind of look at it, probably Vance. He's got the best shot at it. He's being trained, obviously, by the Trump, and he's doing a good job. So I think he's going to be, and there could be, like I've said, Trump may not make it his full term, right? So, and if he doesn't, and you have Vance trained up, it's an easy transition. So we may see 12 years of Vance, 8, 9, 10 years of Vance as president. So that's a possibility. And I know everybody wants Trump to be, I mean, look how long Trump has been there for us, guys. It just absolutely unbelievable. All right, so we're starting to see U.S. troops invade Mexico and dramatic escalation of tensions as Pentagon scrambles to contain the fallout. Oh, yeah, you guys want to practice coming over the border? We'll just go ahead and come over the border. Oh, are we on the wrong side? Oh, okay, sorry. So they're at some beach somewhere, and they started driving 6 signs into the ground which said, "Warning, restricted area," while Mexican personnel watched. Right? So, written in English and Spanish, they claimed that the beach was the property of the U.S. Department of Defense and had been declared restricted by the commander. They also said unauthorized access or photography was not allowed in that area, and that if you're found here, you may be detained and searched. All right. So it's on. The like little games are being played. That's the way these things usually kick off, guys. All right, so here's a picture of it. There's the boys on the beach. They're all rigged out. So they got the helmets, got all their body armor, got their weapons. They're ready to throw down. Is that some guys like skipping around in the water? That's so unprofessional. Why not? Here we go. The signs also said unauthorized access of photography, warning, and then of course in Espanol as well. This Department of Defense property has been declared a restricted area. Oops, that was actually Mexico. But, it may be they're showing them. Maybe they're showing them what's coming. Yes, it is coming. It is coming. We're going to claim this area for a little bit. And if anybody comes over this line, they're going to get they're going to F around and they're going to find out. Right? So you cartel, military looking guys that try to come over this line, bye-bye. We're going to have drone strikes. We're going to have Hellfire missiles from our drones come in and blow your booty up. And so bye-bye. So don't mess around. I think it's going to be pretty cool. It's an easy fix. And of course, then we'll pull back because Mexican people will be like, thank you. Thank you for kicking their ass because it made it easier for us to get our country back. And we'll be like, yeah, you don't like the drugs. We don't like the drugs. So now the drugs are gone and we're all hunky-dory. And Mike's going to come down and hang out in Cozumel and Cancun and all those other places, have a great time. Margaritas and margaritas and what was I thinking? Uh, rum runners, right? I like rum runners too. So anyway, National Guard is in how many cities? Well, they're in Los Angeles. National Guard is the forefront, is like the basically laying the foundation for the Marines to come in, all right? And maybe the Army, all right? Maybe the Army. I'm just picking. Washington, D.C., Chicago, Illinois, authorized deployment, but legally challenged. Memphis, Tennessee, active deployment. In Memphis, they're doing a really, I mean, the people in Memphis are loving it. That's the way it should be everywhere. Portland, troops on standby, and other cities are being tasked, like New York. Maybe when Mamdani came down, Trump was like, "Hey, you're a communist, and I've said bad things about you, but if you let our troops in, I'll be cool. I'll be cool, all right?" And Mamdani's like, "Okay." So troops go in, and then eventually Mamdani, man dummy, is going to go bye-bye. They were talking about how all the New Yorkers are going to like flee to Florida. They didn't do it. All right, there may be a few, but it's not happening on big numbers. All right, New Yorkers are like, "Oh, F that. We're not living up our city. We're going to fight. I think New York is going to fight for their city. I think it's going to happen. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, they're going to fight for the city, right? Get it. Baltimore, that's a tough one. Baltimore is really, really bad. And Oakland also really, really bad. So two cities that are crumbling. Once magnificent cities, of course, Baltimore was Nancy Pelosi's mafia father, ran that city as a mayor and brought in the drugs and made it the heroin capital of America. So not so good. So Nancy is, of course, Mafia Don's daughter, and that's how she's gotten away with a lot of stuff. And that's not gonna work out so good for her in the future. And I think maybe it's already come back to bite her. In her, her husband likes men, and I think that we haven't. I think some of us know, just like Hillary likes women, right? I think Nancy likes women, right? So, but I don't care. Whatever. Tracking buildup of U.S. military planes and warships near Venezuela. All right, so it's getting. Yeah, we're just sending ships down there. We're not really going to invade that country. We have the biggest aircraft carrier in the world there, right? Several U.S. military planes have been identified operating off the coast of Venezuela. Were those the ones that basically blew those speedboats out of the water that were running drugs? Yeah, those were some of the ones that were identified. Yeah, they've had B-1 bombers go over. I think even B-52s fly over. It's a little intimidation going on. The buildup is the largest U.S. military presence in Latin America in decades, and has since I don't know. I was there for the invasion of Panama. I guess I don't remember where we had a bunch of ships off the coast, but it was a special forces deal pretty much. So the buildup is the largest military presence in decades, and military action against Venezuela. This comes after a series of U.S. airstrikes against alleged. BBC, of course, wrote this. Alleged. They saw them come out of they know where the warehouses are, where they're creating the drugs, because they have like crazy amounts of electricity going in these warehouses that's being used, and that's to build out the what's the one drug where they have to like use a lot of electricity? Crack. So they're crack cocaine. So I guess it takes a lot of electricity, and then you have it uses so much electricity, whatever, and there's chemicals involved, and you go through the Appalachians and you see burned out trailers where they were manufacturing meth and all that stuff. It's crazy. So it's very obvious to find these places. Fly over with a infrared detector, and you see like massive amounts of energy coming from buildings, and then you see them like coming out with crates of lots of stuff, and meth and cocaine and all the stuff that they're making, and they go in these boats, and then they drive off, and you know what they're doing. Come on, come on. There's probably people on the ground. There's intel coming, human intelligence. They probably have a lot of people working in there that, man, those guys that like, go into those drug gangs. Oh, that's some scary shit. I heard one guy talking about that where he was wired up one time, and he's working this one drug gang in the United States, and they were like, okay, strip down, because they suspected him. So he was wired, and he had the like little box or whatever, and so he's stripping down. He stripped everything down. This guy's like starting to search his clothes, and I guess his wife had this feeling, and she's with the kids, so she pulls over and starts praying. And this guy so he had a team that was basically they were getting ready to come in because they could hear there was an issue. So they're going to crash into the building and start shooting all these knuckleheads. But she's praying, and he's had all these other incidents, kind of like me, that he should be dead, but he's still alive. And so the guy that was searching just somehow passed over the wires, just missed them, and passed over the device to collect, the sound and all that stuff. But crazy stuff like that, those guys that infiltrate in these drug gangs, FBI and all those guys, holy smokes, wow, that's crazy. That's some crazy shit. I mean, I've been in combat zones, but these guys, pushing the envelope, man. That's tough. So where are the U.S. warships? USS Gerald Ford, the largest aircraft carrier in the world. Largest, I think, maybe ship in the, well, if you look at some of those oil tankers, they're the largest ships in the world. But as far as like military ship, that is the largest military ship in the world. All right, so you got all of the support that goes along with the USS Gerald Ford, and it's got lots of ships around it, and all these other ships, guided missile cruisers, command, special operations command ship. So there's Delta's down there, SEAL Team 6 is down there, Green Beret, SEALs, Rangers. You got some serious peeps down there ready to kick some serious booty, right? So I think they're gaming it, and it'll be like a massive strike when it goes down, right? So lots of planes now. They can have aircraft carriers right there, but of course Puerto Rico's right there as well. And as we've seen, President Trump can fly planes all the way around the world and back again, and blow the hell out of anything and with precision. So if they're real close, that makes it a lot easier. All right, U.S. B-52 long-range bombers briefly appeared on flight tracking website. So they've been over there. I think the stealth jets and all kind of F-35 fighter jets, all kind of stuff has been flying over there. All right, so they're basically intimidating them. So there's Venezuela, and there's Florida. Not so far. Puerto Rico, is that right over there? I think so. I think that's Puerto Rico right there. So they're very close. Of course, Cuba, right there, and Haiti and Dominican Republic. So we're buds with the Dominican Republic. I work with some of those guys in Iraq. They're really good guys. I did a trip. I got a paid trip to Dominican Republic. I always want to go there after working with those guys in Iraq back in what was that? 2000. 2002, 2003. Really good guys. And so I get to go there, LifeWave. High up in LifeWave. So they paid for my trips to all kind of exotic places. So I went there and I was very happy. Very, very good people in Dominican Republic. Beautiful, beautiful island. Of course, Haiti, just right on the other side, at the other end of the island, not so much. Quite a shithole, unfortunately. So, and that's the deep state stuff. Of course, Hillary Clinton and her brother was there getting the gold from Haiti. What a bunch of horrible people. They did, HARP on them, created the earthquake so they could get control of the island. What? That's so crazy. So we got to take these people down. So, conducting strikes. So off of Colombia, Colombia could be another target, I think, for us, or at least not Colombia, because we were pretty much cool with Colombia. But the cartels that are in Colombia, I think there are going to be some strikes there. So 6 strikes off the Colombian coast, 7 strikes off Venezuelan, 3 strikes off the north eastern coast of Colombia. So, and then 3 strikes off of Mexico. 1 strike off Dominican Republic. Uh-oh. Was it coming there? Was it leaving there? That's kind of interesting. So we're going to see some serious action down south, and I think that's why they have so many down there now. In Puerto Rico, I guess they have a lot of Marines. Now the Marines, I think, if we do the Venezuelan strike, we could probably see the Marines not go to Venezuela into the jungles and stuff, but to American cities and go out to the cartels in American cities, right? That's what I think is going to come. So it's easy for them to, if we do the Insurrection Act, for them to fly from Puerto Rico and right into American cities. And of course, so there's National Guard, places where they have all those military vehicles. They'll start rolling them out, and I don't know if Marines take control of them or what happens. I don't know. I don't know how the Marines are going to get their vehicles and so forth, but maybe they're pre-positioned. We'll see. All right, so lots of interesting things. What a large-scale U.S. military action against Venezuela will look like. Maduro said 8 vessels plus a nuclear submarine armed with 1,200 missiles deployed to the region were a historic threat to Latin America. Yes, and there's a lot more. There's a lot more. 1,200 missiles, that's drop in the bucket. U.S. warships and the nuclear-powered fast attack submarine. Of course, we can send a lot of them there, and that's just the ones you know about. And then, of course, the Special Forces guys have all kind of secretive stuff. So lots of ships down there, guys. USS Lake Erie, CG-70, got a missile cruiser, Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers, USS Jason Durham, USS Gravely, USS Sampson, and embarked U.S. Coast Guard law enforcement attachment team. So again, we have U.S. Coast Guard too, which can do interdiction and so forth out in the international waters as well. So lots of volume of military can come into this very quickly, and I think they will. Trump addresses Marjorie Taylor Greene feud after dubbing her a traitor, as MAGA faithful turn on each other. So I don't see it as that. I think Greene. Now I really haven't liked Greene for a long time. I even one time said, and I wasn't kidding at the time, but maybe I was wrong, that she was a man. Right? I don't know. But so other people said, yeah, I think so. But I've looked and I don't know if she had kids or what, but so I don't want to insult her. That I don't want to piss women off, but she looks like a man to me. All right. So anyway, haven't liked her for a long time, and not because of that. It's just that she rubbed me the wrong way, and as we're seeing now, she's a baddie, right? Trump dubbed her a traitor in a True Social post. Now I saw where she made her statements at 7 minutes. I forget how long it was, but she had it all. Somebody had written it for her, I think. Because I don't think she's playing for the good guys guy. I don't think so, and I don't think she has for a long time. So she basically read out her version of the way things are, and Trump is like, she's a nice person. Good luck to her, right? So I think that's perfect. That's the way it should be, right? And because she's done. And it's funny because Laura Loomer, minutes after she resigned, Laura Loomer said, "Loomered," because I guess she was hammered pretty hard too. So she's out. Now, she's not out yet. You know what? She said she was going to be leaving in January 5th. So I guess Congress comes back. So she's abandoning GOP. So we know how we're tight on people in the House. So she's leaving. That should tell you right there, she's not on our side, right? So she should stick it out till the end. But she's going to resign. Now, you're like, oh, she's going to resign. She doesn't, just one-party system. You know, she's always been a MAGA supporter, blah, blah, blah. When she resigns on the 5th, she will have been, on the 3rd is when it happens, but by the 5th, she has 5 years. 5 years in Congress. Why is that important? Because she gets retirement. Resign right now, Marjorie. Right now. If you're going to resign, do it right now. No. She's going to wait till the 5th of January so she can get her retirement for life. I worked for 24 years in the SEAL teams, risked my life in combat action, risked my life jumping out of planes, high altitude, low opening, blowing stuff up, shooting crazy, the tier 1, you name it, I've done it. Badassery, big time. So now when I retired, I couldn't retire until 20 and get a pension. Now I retired with 24 years, but when I retired, I get the same amount as a cook in the United States. Not just the cooks. Cooks are great. I love the cook food, right? In the military, I've eaten quite a bit of it. And maybe in the future, maybe I'll eat some more. I don't know. You'll never know. Maybe a lot of us are going to get involved in this insurrection. So militias and all kind of crazy stuff. So I don't know, why she would just wait till that day. Do you? So she gets a pension for life. Now she doesn't start to collect a pension till 62. All right. So just to be fair on that. And she also gets health care for life, right? She'll have to still pay into it to get, premium services and so forth. But yeah, she's not, that's a bullshit. How many of you out there worked like 20 plus years and retired? 5 friggin' years they get retirement. That's bullshit. So, and of course, if they stay longer, they get more in their retirement, just like any one of us would. But their retirement is pretty substantial, right? I've looked into it. They get quite a bit. Now, I'm going to read what this one Marine, who's, I guess, running for her district, Semper Fi Marine Corps, go, right? He's a candidate because she's not going to win. And I guess she was like, well, maybe I should run for Senate in Georgia. And GOP is like, and then she's like, maybe I should run for governor. And the GOP is like, and well, I'm not going to be reelected. She knows that. So bye-bye. Right. So she's going to resign. Okay. So I couldn't figure out why Marjorie Taylor Greene chose January 5th, 2026 to resign. But y'all know me. I always dig because I'm a nerd. That date just happens to be 2 days after her congressional pension for life. Let me break it down. Members of Congress only need 5 years in office to lock in a lifetime federal pension paid for by us, right? Paid for by Georgians, or I guess for all of us, it's federal. MTG was sworn in January 3rd. 5 years later, January 3rd, and then 2 days after that is her golden parachute fully secured. So some of you guys that still are weeping because Marjorie Taylor Greene just resigned, look a little deeper. Look a little deeper, right? And that man, I mean, that woman that is resigning, I'm not quite fond of her, him, whatever. Members of Congress can retire at age 62 with at least 5 years of service. And it goes into how much they make. Of course, it's going to be dependent upon how long they serve, but it looks like they're, at this point right here, they're getting around 45,000. All right. That's a lot more than I get every year for having served in the military at the levels that I did for 24 years. How about that? Wow. All right. So just 5 years, and she makes more than I did, you know, going into combat and all that stuff. So she also is going to get Social Security because she put into Social Security, Civil Service Retirement, Disability Fund, all that stuff. So don't cry for Marjorie. Argentina. Yes. So I get some other stuff in here. I'm not gonna. I said enough. I'm done. All right. All right. So I'm done. Done. All right. So look at that sky back there. Isn't it beautiful? Here, I can put the blind up. Maybe we can get a little bit more of it before I go. All right, guys. You know the deal. Stay in the love vibration. Now, the love vibration is a frequency field, of course. And in that frequency field, you have that all-knowing that can come into you through the pineal gland, heart, brain, coherence. So don't get all pissed about all these people, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm like, typical, you know, typical bullshit. And working for the bad guys now, in my opinion, that was a plant, right? Just like those guys that infiltrate those drug gangs, those FBI agents. Whew. But for her, it wasn't a big deal, right? She's not going to die from it. Unless she comes out and starts to try to do some seditious acts. Maybe the people that are puppeting her will be like, okay, attack Trump more. Because she's already been attacking Trump. And Trump is like, what do you call her? Marjorie, Trader Marjorie Trader something Green. I don't know. So he was hammered pretty good. You know, that's the way Trump does. When it's time for you to go bye-bye, he's going to hammer you. And then when you're gone, it's like, oh, hey. So, hey, you did good. You did good. Yeah. Go be with your family. Your family's going to love you. It's good. All right. So stay in love vibration. It's getting closer. It's getting closer to where we're going to see these knuckleheads get hammered. And I think that's going to be quite substantial. Did you listen to her full? Yeah, I did listen to her full announcement. And at first I was like, she made some pretty good points there. And then I started to like, don't fall for it. You know how they sucker you in. I was like, I'm not gonna fall for it. And then I started to do a little research because it didn't seem right. And then I started coming up on all the other stuff. And I'm sure there's a lot more, guys. I'm sure there's a lot more. Because she was saying, that she was calling Trump. She wasn't calling Trump. She was texting him. And he's like, she hasn't called me. And then she goes, see, President Trump says, and I never did call him. No, she was texting him. So little word games, you know. And I know you ladies like to play those. Even Laura Loomer said, she's going to say she's resigning because she wants to be chased. Right? I don't think anybody's going to chase her. All right, whatever. All right, guys. Lots of love. I could go on and on.